Sorry, Chancellor, I forgot to doff my cap. Chancellor, Deputy Lord Lieutenant, distinguished guests, Salford graduates, ladies and gentlemen, and hey, yes. I have to say that it's actually really quite intimidating speaking on the same platform as a couple of fantastic poets. So if you need to sort of zone out for a few minutes, now's the time. And thank you, Professor Walker, Alan, for that really generous oration. All of my thank yous are in the speech, so I'll crack on. The brief for this speech was to talk about my journey, and I was reminded of a speech I made a couple of years ago at a conference at the South Bank Centre in London about arts and education that still feels so very relevant now. You'll detect a theme perhaps between Tony and myself. So it feels okay to reiterate now what I was saying then. I am very lucky to be leading home and to be entrusted with such an important civic and cultural asset. My mother Jean worked in a shop for all her working life, and my dad Jack drove trucks, tankers to be precise. I'm very proud of them both. They left school at 15 and worked hard all of their lives to make sure they did their best for their kids, like many of you have done. Thanks to Ancestry.com, my wife Lindsay has done some family history research, and we know that my family worked on the railways, in the shipyards and on the River Tyne for generations, and a number of them were even in the workhouse. In contrast to that history, perhaps like many of you, I was the first person in my family to go to sixth form and to get a degree. My future as someone who attended a secondary modern school in the early 70s should have been on the railways, in the shipyards, on the river, but probably not the workhouse. There's nothing wrong with that as a career path at all. All very respectable professions. Apart from, if I'd been born a generation earlier, I would have had no choice. That's where I would have worked. That's what I would have done. So, how did a spotty-faced teenager in a hand-knitted jumper become to be an art and drama teacher and end up running what is one of the largest art centres outside of London? It happened because I was the product of a liberal education system with a strong core in arts and a commitment to teachers that enabled a working-class lad like me from a family with no tradition of education to have a choice. Teachers opened my mind and my eyes. Teachers who encouraged me to make choices and think differently. I had a choice because Miss Callender at Bewley Junior School got me reading for fun, but was also the most amazing art teacher. I had a choice because Miss Johnson, our music teacher at Davy Hall Secondary School, got me to learn the rhythm of life from Sweet Charity, which I can still sing today, but you wouldn't want me to, and encouraged me to play an instrument. I had a choice because Mrs. Natras of Furness Comprehensive School introduced me to Alan Paton, Doris Lessing, the war poets, and most importantly, Shakespeare. I had a choice because Mr. Sutherland, also at Furness Comprehensive School, encouraged me to stay in the art room after the school day to draw and to paint and to make things. I had a choice because Mr. Shingleton at Bede Sixth Form College took me on a day trip to London, or a weekend trip to London, to visit the Tate and introduced me to Rothgo, a life-changing experience, and Degar and the Rocky Horror Show. I had a choice because John Mee at Leeds Polytechnic told me that I didn't need permission to make theatre. I just needed an idea and the drive to work with people and make things happen. I owe so much to those teachers. I could have mentioned some fantastic science, maths, history and even geography teachers who gave me choices, but they're not an endangered species. The state of arts education in our schools is increasingly a concern and doesn't bode well for the future of our nation. All of our young people deserve the chance to have a choice. Many of you are starting careers in the creative and cultural and digital sector, which is the second fastest growing industry in Greater Manchester after business and financial services. With 8.4% predicted growth between now and 2025, there are viable careers in these businesses. Technical professional skills are identified as a gap in UK theatre and creative and cultural skills. Sir Peter Bazalgette's review of the creative industries stated, "Key to UK's future success is the blending of technical and creative skills." The Warwick Commission and Kaluskil-Benkin Foundation and similar research studies, however, have identified a narrowing demographic of those involved in the arts. The skills gap and the gap in cultural democracy is as big as ever. This is why this university and others like it who are investing in the next generation of creative talent, no matter what their background, are so important. And I applaud the University of Salford for their inclusivity and investment in the arts, and I'm flattered and very, very proud to be associated with it. To conclude, as many of you head out into careers in the arts and wider cultural industries, I would like to ask you not only to make great work, but also to think about the next generation that will follow you. Help them to have a choice too. Thank you to the University of Salford for their support of home and bestowing such a great honour on me, which in truth is recognition as much for the great team that I work with and the huge support I get from my wife Lindsay and my family as it is for me. Great teams are everything. We need artists more than ever. Enjoy your graduation day. Go and make a difference, speak truth to power and change the world. Thank you.